भक्त वृंद की। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Hare Krishna, let us welcome His Grace RadheShyam Pr with 3 loud and enthusiastic Hari Bols.
See, welcoming me is not a great thing, I am only one person, but welcoming all the leaders is a very difficult thing to get the leaders together, because everybody is like an apex in their own pyramid. And for them to come together is the most difficult thing to happen in the universe. My spiritual master once made a group called the CSV, Counselors for Spiritual Vision, 14 of us. But then he wanted us to meet every month. Then he told us at least alternate months. And then finally all of us jointly decided at least quarterly we should be able to come. But now it doesn't happen more than once a year now. The reason is the members of this group, who are they? Like Radha Gopinath Prabhu, Shyamanand Prabhu, Govind Prabhu, Gaurang Prabhu, Sanatkumar Prabhu, myself, Gauru Gopal Prabhu, such kinds of Rajavihari Prabhu, Shikshashtakam Prabhu, and people like that. So different people are in different continents on the globe. So getting the people together. So Maharaj used to say, if devotees who are preachers and counselors, if they can take out time to come together and come in the association of equals and seniors, Maharaj said that community will become extremely powerful. It will be unbreakable practically, which is a very difficult thing to do, because I know how busy all of you are and your schedules are, and you are lined up with so many things to do. So therefore they deserve to be welcomed. Then we welcome them.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. So His Grace Vishwapati Mukunda Prabhu, are you here? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji is here. Let's welcome Prabhuji. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And let's welcome Amal Mahaprabhu and his whole group here. So many preachers together coming here with 3 loud and enthusiastic Hari Bols. Hari Bol. And Nirendra Prabhu from Nalganda congregation. Prabhuji is the leader there, and he has also got some leaders here. Let's welcome with 3 loud Hari Bols. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. We'll start the slate session.
So we were doing this topic of seeking divine empowerment. Prabhu, did I send you notes 1 and 2 for this? If I haven't, I will send you. I will put it in the WhatsApp. You can send it to all. I'll put it in this. I don't drag and drop. Oh, it's open, I think. It's open, it doesn't drop, huh? It's not coming. I think I have to close it, I think. No, I will. Because if you send it now itself, people can see in their mobiles also. They don't have to, sometimes they have to stretch their neck. Uh, now it's coming. We got it now. Huh? Part 1 and 2. So part 1 mostly I've finished. Now I'll do part 2. See, seeking, this is the part 2, how to recognize an empowered devotee and seeking divine empowerment and Prabhupada's mood in accepting Lord's empowerment, okay? This we will try to complete today. Please read it, one of you. Who has a mic with you? See, in part 1, we did these things. You know, we are actually doing the course 3, equip yourself to get empowered. In that first topic only you are doing, seeking divine empowerment. In that the different types of power and what is empowerment elaborately we discussed in 2-3 sittings. Now we are doing how to recognize an empowered devotee, okay? Yeah.
Hare Krishna. How to recognize an empowered devotee? Any place where the Supreme Personality of Godhead is present by his name, form, qualities, or paraphernalia immediately becomes a dham. For example, we speak of Vrindavan Dham, Dwarka Dham, and Mathura Dham because in these places the name, fame, qualities, and paraphernalia of the Supreme Godhead are always present. Similarly, if one is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to do something, the core of his heart becomes a dham. And thus, he becomes so extraordinarily powerful that not only his enemies, but also people in general are astonished to observe his activities. Because he is unapproachable, his enemies are simply struck with wonder. As explained here by the words Durasado
Ati dur darsha.
Ati Durjashaha.
Yeah, read further.
Shaktyavesh avatars are incarnations of Vishnu's power, invested in a living entity. Living entities are also part and parcel of Lord Vishnu, but they are not as powerful. Therefore, when a living entity descends as an incarnation of Vishnu, he is especially empowered by the Lord. When King Prithu is described as an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, it should be understood that he is a Shaktyavesh avatar, part and parcel of Lord Vishnu, and is specifically empowered by him. Any living being acting as the incarnation of Lord Vishnu is thus empowered by Lord Vishnu to preach the Bhakti cult. Such a person can act like Lord Vishnu and defeat demons by arguments and preach the Bhakti cult exactly according to the principles of Shastra. As indicated in Bhagavad Gita, whenever we find someone extraordinary preaching the Bhakti cult, we should know that he is especially empowered by Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. As confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Shakti Vina na hai Tara Parvartan. One cannot explain the glories of the holy name of the Lord.
What happens? Okay.
As indicated in Bhagavad Gita, whenever we find someone extraordinary preaching the Bhakti cult, we should know that he is specially empowered by Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. As confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, one cannot explain the glories of the holy name of the Lord without being specifically empowered by him. If one criticizes or finds fault with such an empowered personality, one is to be considered an offender against Lord Vishnu and is punishable. Even though such offenders may dress as Vaishnavas with false tilak and mala, they are never forgiven by the Lord if they offend a pure Vaishnava.
So, here it is said that the core of the heart of such a wonderful devotee who becomes extraordinarily powerful. Now, who is considered extraordinarily powerful? That is very important to know. One boy who graduated from one of our colleges, he got placed in a job in some faraway place. So from there he wrote a mail to me and said, Prabhu, ever since I came here, there was one college in my neighborhood, I started preaching. Within 1 year, 20 boys have taken to chanting. Now they have come to 8 rounds and some of them have come to 16 rounds also. So Prabhu, I cannot believe how in 1 year I have made 20 devotees. And single-handedly with no support from anybody, I went to that place, I started from the scratch. So I was thinking, Prabhuji, this is very similar to what Prabhupada did in the West. Prabhupada went to New York and then he went to park. Prabhupada went to park, I went to hostel. That's the only difference. Then I said, what are you talking? I said, see, who taught you to wear tilak? Who taught you to wear dhoti kurta? Who taught you to have a japa beads like this? And where did you get the philosophy to speak from? All these things you simply have borrowed from Prabhupada. So what you have is borrowed plumes. You know what is borrowed plumes? Sometimes you will see this Bharatanatyam doing girls, they dress like a peacock. You have seen that? It's called peacock dance. They dress with lot of peacock feather type of thing all over the body, in the head also, everywhere. And they make the neck like a bluish, dark bluish one, and then they dance like a peacock, and very much appreciated. But those plumes, what they have is not their own. Peacock is having its own plumes, but they have got what plumes? Borrowed plumes. So I told this boy, everything you have is borrowed one. Why should you be proud of that? Hmm? You are not speaking any philosophy from your heart. You are borrowed from Prabhupada's books. You just cut, paste and go and speak it to people. You learned everything, every small thing. What type of lifestyle you were leading before, and now this change in your what is so great about it? You're just copying what you have learned, and you should not be so proud. I wrote back to him in a mail. So he said, Prabhuji, I was thinking, Krishna Shakti Vinanahi Tara Pravartan Shastra say, I thought that it can be applied to my life. And I said, never, not even in your dream also. Don't imagine yourself to be a self-indulgent Acharya. I scolded him. It's very dangerous for you. I said, you don't know, there are many couples. Like one couple went from India, Prem Padma Mataji, when she was a student in Bombay. And then she came to Juhu temple, and later on she got married to a gentleman here also. And they were sent to West for preaching. When they started preaching within a couple of years, 2 to 3 years, they made about 700 devotees also. From there, many devotees were sent to various parts of the Gulf. And now, all over the Gulf, they have 4,000-5,000 devotees now. Yeah. And they have many yatras now. Shama Desh and Damodar Desh. Different desh like that. It has expanded, and many of the students became devotees. So she wrote a book called as Free to Preach. That's a book. So now each of those yatra leaders are very good souls. Like Sri Vallabh Prabhu and people like that. Very, very advanced devotees, mature devotees. And I have given sometimes online lectures for them sometimes. I have seen they practice very seriously and sincerely, and making 3,000-4,000 devotees in a decade or two, fixed up devotees. They have made many, many. And many of them returning back to India, you will see they're very fired up devotees also. So basically, like that yatra, similarly in different parts of the world also different yatras come up. Youth preaching, congregation preaching and everything. But all of us, where do we get the blueprint from? We get from Prabhupada, books. We have Prabhupada's books. We also have Yeah. We have ISKCON society already well established. GBCs are there, and GBCs are meeting regularly, and GBCs have given guidance in the last so many 5 decades or so, for expanding the society, norms, policies, everything is made. And Prabhupada has taught every small thing. Even Prabhupada taught women how to wear, sari. He himself wore around his own body. He showed woman like this, you tie and you put like this. And he went to America. Because, and Prabhupada taught them how to brush the teeth also. And how to wear the tilak, how to wear the kantimala, how to chant the japa beads. Every small thing he taught to them very kindly. And sometimes when they would eat, sometimes they would use a tissue paper just to rub the hands. Prabhupada said, no, you can't rub the hands with tissue paper. He said, Vedic life means cleaning is done how? With water. You have to use water. So he taught them every small thing. Prabhupada taught them very meticulously, very patiently. Prabhupada took, saffron cloth in a big bundle in a trunk. So when it reached America, devotees opened the trunk and took out, and they brought the big scissor, and every devotee cut from that trunk, from that cloth, and took it. So some of the Matajis, they also took saffron clothes, and they were wearing saffron sari. How many of you seen that photo? Some Matajis wearing saffron sari. You've seen that? It's there, very famous photo it is. They're doing kirtan in the street. So Prabhuji's Mataji, everybody is wearing saffron. Devotees are so innocent actually in the early days. Prabhupada carried clothes for them in the bundle. He carried tilak for them. So one should think about the early days of ISKCON, how Prabhupada started. He cooked for them, different cuisines, he taught them. Every small thing, he gave a blueprint and everything. So, when he talks here about empowered devotee, why we call Prabhupada as empowered devotee, I will share one this thing with Leelan Prabhu, which I will request him to send it to all. See, 14 predictions of Srila Prabhupada preaching in the West. It is already predicted. Videsham gamyate maya, like that she says. Sorry. Yeah, you got it. Huh? Oh, you got that also. Huh? Can send that to everybody. Yeah. So Leelan Prabhu will send you all. It's going, coming. So, in this way, 14 predictions of Prabhupada going to the West, it's there in different scriptures. I put it all together. And Prabhupada going to West is not incidental thing. It's a planned thing. It's a very serious matter. It is just going to West is predicted already in the scriptures. So, and also, when Prabhupada went to West, there were many, many Bhagavad Gitas already sleeping in the library catching dust. But when Prabhupada brought his Bhagavad Gita as it is, within 4 years, there were women, American girls wearing saris, American men wearing dhoti kurta, wearing tilak, kantimala, beating mridangam in the street and doing Harinam Sankirtan, chanting Lord Chaitanya's names, and then going around and distributing his books all over the country. So it's not an ordinary thing. See, sometimes in India, if you tell in a lecture you should wear sari, you will be taken to task sometimes. But there you can say American girls wearing sari is not an ordinary thing. And American boys wearing dhoti kurta. And that too, they were all into drug addiction, all kinds of things. Yeah, what kind of faith that he earned, what kind of commitment and surrender that they showed. They laid down their whole life. Last 5 decades, many of his disciples have been faithfully serving. You can see that. So the kind of radical change he brought about in the lives of people is unimaginable. And in such a short time, how many kinds of activities he started. He called Jayananda Prabhu and told him to make rathas and make Rathayatra. So Jadurani Mataji to do the painting. Chaitanya Charitamrita was brought out in how much time? Just 2 months, 17. 2 months, 7-volume edition, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and establishing so many temples in the West. He created new dhams in the West. New Vrindavan, right? New Talavan, New Jagannath Puri. Where is New Jagannath Puri? San Francisco. And New Dwaraka, Los Angeles. Yeah. So New Vrindavan, West Virginia. So Acharyas are like very powerful powerhouses. We draw a little power from them and we work for them and on behalf of them. Correct, no? That is correct consciousness. Another example I'll tell you. Once I was in Utkarsh camp in Mayapur Dham. So, generally the lunch time is a time when some of the senior devotees will bring their boys to me just to, introduce them to me. Because otherwise 400-500 boys, very big crowd, I just continue giving lecture, kirtan, everything. So in the interval time they would bring them. So one boy was brought in front of me, he was a university topper, gold medalist. So one devotee came and said, RadheShyam Prabhu, somehow Krishna used me as an instrument in bringing this university topper to Krishna consciousness. I just thought I'll introduce him to you. I was the one who gave one time in the college. And after my one-time program, he asked one question. And then eventually now I am seeing in the following 1 year, he became a 1600 devotee. How Krishna does miracles through us, I realized, Prabhuji, he said. Then he went away. Then another senior devotee came and said, RadheShyam Prabhu, it is my humble self who gave the device for this boy. Succession. Somehow Krishna used him as an instrument in making him a devotee. Because I was talking to this one boy, this university topper, and one by one these fellows came. One fellow said, I am the one who gave Sankalp camp to this boy. Because I happened to be the mentor of the boy. I guided him and all that. And one fellow said, Prabhuji, I am the counselor of this boy now. Almost 5-6 devotees came and went one by one. After everybody went, I asked the boy, my dear boy, you tell me, you have so many fathers now. Success has many fathers and failure is orphan, it is said, no? So many people are ready to father you now. So tell me, what inspired you to become such a wonderful devotee, even though you are a gold medalist? And, he said, Prabhu, how wonderful Prabhupada's books are. So I read the books and whoever came to support me, I appreciated. But my conviction comes from the philosophy. I read in Prabhupada's books and I cannot see anybody so sincere and so transparent like Prabhupada. He is so core, is honest to the core in his presentation. Even when Prabhupada chastises the Mayavadis and scientists, that only increases my conviction and love for Prabhupada. Because he is really a well-wisher of every living entity. In every letter he writes, you are ever well-wisher. The boy said. So later on I called those 5-6 devotees and told them, Prabhus, all of you are like basketball players. In basketball, what do? You take a ball, one fellow is doing OTP, one-time program. You do that. So give a boy to the Discover Yourself course. Then he takes a boy and gives to a Sankalp. You give it to him. Correct, no? Then he gives to him. And in this way, finally, who liberates the boy, takes him back to God. Prabhupada is like the tall African, players you have seen that they just catch the ball and they put it inside. So I said, ultimately they have become connected to Prabhupada's movement. They are progressing further. And all of us have our roles to play. I won't say none of you have done anything for him. But we should see ourselves as someone who is contributing a little bit in that person's life. I'll tell you a real example from my life. See, I was standing at Nigadi Krishna Mandir. Correct, no? I used to put a book table there. So one boy came from Bajaj Auto, a tall boy, very, very good boy, very good, asking good questions. So he purchased a book from me. Later on, he became Sundar Krishna Prabhu, in Pune, very wonderful devotee. Later on, he arranged program in his room also for me in Bajaj Auto. I was going. Another boy came, so he picked up the book Science of Self-Realization. And he also asked some questions, appeared very smart. I took his number. Then I told him, I am in Kunjuberi temple. You can visit me. We can leisurely talk. So he came to the temple, we sat. It was a heavy rainy day. Still, he was catching a big umbrella and came. And we had a talk for a couple of hours. Many nice things he asked, and I also shared. Then I gave him an assignment. Because he said it's vacation time. Exams are over, he said. Then I said, please make me an article on vegetarianism. I have to submit to the Reverence for All Life, one organization, they asked me. So within a week, he brought a 10-page article. He made a nice article with nice headings and gave, and I sent it. I thanked him. I gave him prasad. So one day he told me that, Prabhu, now in Dehu, there is a temple where Ayyappa temple. There are a lot of programs happen there. If you come, it will be nice. We will put up a program. So he and his closest friend, they both were leading a youth club there. So they arranged a program. Something like 150, 200 people came. In those days, I only had an overhead projector. I used to carry on stencils. We used to put in the top. By the time these colorful projectors were coming slowly, this kind of projectors were coming slowly. So I did one program there. These two boys were the organizers. They were doing everything. They would take care of the chapel stand. They would cook also, assist also, everything. So later on he said, my father attended your session and he has become a little frightened. Because he heard that if you drink flesh and eat blood, you will become a tiger in the next life. So certain things you said, my father was a little upset. So he was thinking, he saw you as a brahmachari. He is afraid I may become brahmachari also like you. So there's a restriction. And then he said, therefore, I got a job in Bombay also, Pune also. I'm going for a job in Bombay. Then he went to Bombay. He was very attracted to Govind Prabhu personally, and Gauranga Prabhu. So from Gauranga Prabhu, he derived Srimad Bhagavatam study inspiration. From Govind Prabhu, he derived inspiration on being personal and friendly like a brother, loving and caring. And from Paramahansa Radhanath Maharaj, he was most charmed by his personality of being compassionate and kind and caring and the great love. So eventually he went on to become his great Gaur Gopal Prabhu. And then later on, he took that direction of reaching out to the mass of people in the world. So now if you see the basketball example I was telling, no, I took, if you ask him, Gaur Gopal was like the ball. I took him and then he wanted to go to Bombay, he went. Then he connected with Govind Prabhu. So Govind Prabhu was personal touch, he liked it, like a mentor and caring and all. But then he heard Gaurang Prabhu's Bhagavatam classes, he was very charmed. Then he met Gaurang Prabhu, saw his notes and saw his classes and his style of Bhagavatam presentation. He was very attracted those days. Then when he met His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, that was a turning point for him. He used to make short clips of Radhanath Maharaj's talks, where he especially talks about things like relationship, happiness, and sensitivity and things like that. So once he gave me also about 20, 30 of Maharaj's small clips. He would be very, very amazed by that. He said, world needs this. If we give this, people will come from animal to human platform. He used to always tell me those days. So later on, that's the direction that he was most attracted by, and he gravitated in that direction, which has become his foundational principle, correct? The things which he's teaching now. So multiple people are involved in many cases. Similarly, in my company, one Mother and Flight company I was working. One day I went to the Microvax lab. One fellow was looking at his friend and said, Jai Shri Ram, he was selling. So I thought this fellow is saying Jai Shri Ram, he can become a devotee. So I just met him in the lunchtime and gave him a proper book. Coming back, I gave. So next day he came back and said, the book was very great. I'm going to Belgaum. Do you have more books? I said, I have a dozen books. He said, get all of them, he said. I'm going for 10 days. So he took all the books. He came back and said, I finished most of them. I got a lot of time at home. And then he asked me, where are you living? I want to come and see your place. I want to practice also. So he came and saw where I was living. He liked my lifestyle, waking up in the morning, wearing tilak. Immediately he picked up, very easily. And then only he didn't like my prasad, which was very simple. He said, what is this? You're eating khichdi in the morning. And then I told only another item I know is upma. See, he said, oh, what is this upma? It looks like salt halwa. Because he didn't know what is this upma. So these are the two items I used to make. So one day I tried making chapati. It came like a Britannica biscuit. You know? He said, I have to break and eat it. So at that time, His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj told RadheShyam Pr started too many programs. He's not able to manage. If you go get a job in Pune, you can also join him. You all can be together for each other. It will be a good support. So he got in Kirloskar Royal Agents. So he came, Gauranga Prabhu came. And Gauranga Prabhu saw my prasadam item. He said, what kind of prasad is this? Prasadam is something special. So immediately he and this fellow, they both went to market and they purchased big, big vessels. He brought. Next day morning was thick dal, sabji and chapati, hot, puffed up chapatis, and all kind of items. So rice also, rice he would make like jasmine, so nicely he would make. And this friend of mine whom I brought from the company, he said, who is this personality I'm meeting now? He became attached to Gaurang Prabhu. He told me, RadheShyam Pr is wondering whether to continue staying with you because I can't eat this. Now he said, this is the most important thing in this moment. Became attached. Who is this personality? Sudama Prabhu. Yeah. So, in this way, I brought somebody and then he was attracted to Gauranga Prabhu. Then when he went to Bombay, he saw Krishnanand Prabhu. He was very charmed by that holy name. Krishnan Prabhu chant. He has attended many, many classes of Krishnan Prabhu. So he also started liking for Chaitanya Leela and Krishnan Prabhu chanting. So then chanting became his most important aspect of life. Loudly he would chant. You've seen that? He speaks many lectures on chanting also. Many, many rounds also he chants every day. So, Maharaj sent 3 of us to Pune, me and Rupa Goswami Prabhu and Sudama Prabhu. Goswami Prabhu was known to me. So, he was there for a short while in Pune, but Pune was cold climate. Didn't suit him. So, he went back to Bombay, settled in Bombay. And Bombay, he was very nourished by multiple devotees. Shyamanand Prabhu, Radha Gopinath Prabhu. He was inspired by many of them like that. So, in this way, we all can think that when people come into spiritual life, some people will be initially inspired by us. And then later on, they may be inspired by some other devotees also. Maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, many others. Like in those days when Chaitanya Charan Prabhu joined Pune, you ask him how he joined, he will tell you one thing. The one secret he learned from my early book called as Bhagavad Gita for Youth. That book was distributed in the hostel. So he was most fascinated by this information on 4 defects. So 4 human defects and Pratyaksha Anumana Shabda. So after that he told Sundar Krishna Prabhu that I want to meet this fellow, RadheShyam Prabhu. And then he came to temple and asked many questions. And then he became very charmed by scientific presentation of the philosophy. In those days, every week he would catch me for 3-4 hours asking questions. One day we were going to Bombay, the train, all through the train. I asked, how many more questions you have? His Holiness Purnachandra Maharaj gave him one title. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu means is Prashna Sagar, he told him. He gave him the name. He can ask many, many questions. So when I saw that, he has so many questions, I told him, I think I have to make many trips to Bombay now to answer your questions. He would ask, I would keep answering also. So I would spend many hours in the early days. But certain questions I answered, my answers were not sufficient for him. He said, Prabhu, this black holes and questions about the space and astronomy and all, he was not fully satisfied. So then I told him, see, next week one great soul is coming. His name is Michael Kramo. He is Dhruta Krama Prabhu. So Dhruta Prabhu wears saffron, he gives Bhagavatam class, he went to the room, he wears coat, suit, boot, tie, blazers, everything, goes for a conference, goes to NCL, goes to big research institutes. He's a scientist also. He's a scientist come brahmachari, both. So he came. So when he went to his room, 3 hours he didn't come out. After 3 hours, when he came out, he was like, Lord Nimai Pandit after taking Diksha. We all know after Nimai Pandit took Diksha and returned back to Navadvip, he was like a Krishna haunted man, correct, no? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? He was searching. Similarly, Chaitanya Prabhu, after meeting him, he came and told, I asked him, so what questions you asked? What Prabhuji answered? He said, Prabhuji, don't ask me, my God, what personality he is. He said, all my scientific doubts are finished. He said, he knows so deeply every aspect of science. He answered my questions very thoroughly. Plus, he is so humble and so simple, his personality. I learned one thing, you can be most learned and you can be most humble also. I am really charmed. He is here in Pune for 2 more days, and I have told him I'll meet him tomorrow again. So next 2 days he met and took all his books, and he read his books also. And I was very pleased to see that he could, clear up all his doubts which were pending. Uh, and later on, I was doing one magazine, Spiritual Scientist, which I gave to him, and he developed it to a very great extent. I was only doing a hard copy book. Then he made it into e-sign after that. Then he made so many nice things. He started writing and speaking tree. And I saw he grew very fast. He started Gita daily and all these things. Then I told him that I want to introduce you to many senior people because you are a very good writer and speaker, like Shyamanand Prabhu and Radha Gopinath Prabhu and Iswaran Bhakti Maharaj. So, I told him that because you're writing, you should go and show and share with them and learn more from them and everything. So he went, met many people. He was very, very happy. Amongst them, he found a great friend in Shyamanand Prabhu. Shaman Prabhu is one of his most favorite because Shaman Prabhu, if he jokes, he will not laugh, but you will laugh like anything, catching the belly. He will coolly throw jokes like anything. Very light in his dealing. Very charming to the heart of all the devotees. So, and also he is very much keeping abreast of the world happenings and everything. And you ask him what happened today morning in any part of the world, he can tell you. He's very, very well informed. He's from MBA background. Everything he knows, a lot of things he knows. So they both connected well and he became a good friend. Later on, he started traveling all across the globe. He's an international figure. Coming here also next week, yeah. So now, if you ask him, he may say, oh, RadheShyam Pr is my mentor, he is my counselor. He may say, early days, he gave me so much time, he may say that. But we should know that people have already made a lot of progress in their spiritual life in the previous lives also. When they come in the later years, they may grow to very great heights. And what we should do, we should act in our life as facilitators. Like Amal Mahaprabhu, in his college days, he was a very brilliant student. When he came, when he joined the Pune temple, and after that, at one time he requested me, can you please introduce me to Radha Gopinath Prabhu and his one is RadheShyam Pr Maharaj. I want to ask them some questions. So I wrote a letter to them, and he went and spent a lot of time with them. Later on, he wrote some books, Art of Concentration in the Age of Distraction. He wrote a book one on time management also. Now he has written one book on parenting. And he was a very good preacher. He went to IIT Chennai and made probably about 50 devotees, 16 rounders. His one Bhanu Maharaj was amazed. How he preached and made so many devotees. Because many people are coming, going. But he has a very strict, disciplined system of bringing them to the point of morning program and, everything in a very systematic fashion. Carrying them ahead. Now, he is here in Hyderabad in one part of which part of the city? Name? What is the name? Kondapur, yeah. In Kondapur, he has a nice community. What do you call it? Gaurnitai? Home. Gaurnitai home. Then when he got married, he got a wonderful devotee wife who is also just like him in her devotion service. Mataji is here? She's here, yeah. They both had exactly like-minded nature. They both joined hands and now they have put up a beautiful community there. So you will see that as people grow, and they also get many other devotee association, and we have to facilitate it. And if we choke it, then our relationship will become strained. If somebody says, I am giving you love and care, why do you want to go to anything? Isn't it? Then some people it's called possessive counselor. So I call it as, there are two types of counselors. There is a baby counselor, Baba counselor. I'll tell you what is it. See, baby counselor means they want you to remain their babies. They should never grow. You should never walk on the ground. I will always keep you like this. Like children, some child is taken. Sometimes children, they grow even at 10 or 12 years, still some fathers, they keep the mother's shoulder. Wait, don't walk. We are there to take care of you. He said, now I have a proper leg, I can walk. No. That's called baby counselor. Even if you have to sneeze, you have to take permission from me. Prabhuji, can I sneeze now? Yes. After that. Prabhuji, can I go to bathroom? Yes. Permission granted. Permission granted. What counselor is this? Baby counselor. They keep everyone as babies only. They don't grow them. They don't empower them. And Baba counselor, my Lord, they are completely indifferent. You ask a Baba counselor, Prabhu, your boy, I found him in San Francisco. You know that? Oh, San Francisco, he never told me. Huh? He never told me and I never asked him. Take her wherever he is. You know, let him be Krishna conscious. Huh? He's Baba counselor. Huh? He has no information about his counselees. This is diametrically opposite. Completely opposite. Some people are very possessive, some people are very indifferent. These very possessive people, they sometimes too much lord over their people. For example, they may say that, like one counselor, what he did, he came to one meeting wearing this one t-shirt where this Damodar, you have seen this Krishna looking at the parrot, that he was wearing that. And then he asked all the counsellors, how do I look like in this? They said, Prabhuji, you look very beautiful in this, very nice. He said, I have come with a purpose in today's meeting. He said, all of you Prabhujis, any marriage you go, you should wear this type of t-shirt. And he gave everybody one t-shirt also. He said, I am sponsoring it for you. So all of them took it. So one of his counsellors called me on phone and said, Prabhuji, I took the t-shirt, but I am little hesitant to wear it for the marriages. Because, many of my relatives and all, already they are pulling my leg. Huh? Prabhuji, I generally don't show myself as a devotee to them. Because, otherwise they will trouble me. I can't answer their questions and all. But I like to be a devotee. But Prabhuji, is it a disobedience to counselor? Yeah. I said, no. If you tell him, he won't mind it. I said. So he went and told him, Prabhuji, thank you for the t-shirt. But I am unable to wear it for marriage. Is it all? No. If you disobey the instruction, you will go to hell. Yeah, you have to wear. Everybody must wear. If you have difficulty, I will also wear and come with you. You call me to the marriage, I will give you confidence by being with you. My Lord, he got more frightened. Again he came to me and said, Prabhuji, saying like this, what I should do? Then I said, don't worry, I will put a word to him. Then I called the counselor and said, Prabhu, you see, you have the right to institute chanting 16 rounds. And asking them to follow the 4 regs and study Prabhupada books and do the morning program, come to ISKCON temples, eat prasadam. These things you can do that because these are found in Prabhupada books, letters and everything, general things. But over and above that, you cannot become too rigid in giving your own personal instructions. And then he started asking me, Prabhuji, did I say anything wrong? I am trying to increase the Krishna consciousness, Prabhu. He can also be Krishna conscious. He can make everybody Krishna. What did I say wrong? He was telling. I said, see, your intention is well taken. But everybody has some reservation and you should not enter into the, inner private circle of people. Because everybody has some private circle and one should not too much go into that. Then you spoil the relationship. Correct, no? Like, for example, when you go to somebody's house, the man is there, his wife is there, his children are there. You can talk to the man, but you cannot ask too much information about his wife or about his children. Or you cannot force them because that is his private affair. If he is interested in taking some consultation from you, you may help. But too much getting into personal affairs of people, that will lead to rejection. And the relationship becomes strained by that. It's not very good. So I told him that this is one such area you are trying to venture into. What you can do is, today I am wearing a t-shirt. If you all like, you may wear such t-shirt. It will be very inspiring to people when you go to marriages. And any of you like it, you may do so. So it's a voluntary thing, not a mandatory thing. You cannot make it a mandatory. But you can't say in a class, if all of you like, you may chant 16 rounds or you may not chant also, because I should not interfere with your spiritual life. That you cannot say. You must chant how many rounds? Because who said that? So, whenever we say anything, we can bring Prabhupada quotes. Prabhupada says this. Because when you say Prabhupada says it, so-and-so great soul said it. His Holiness Ranath Maharaj says we should be Trinada Peshunichana. Similarly, Prabhupada says you should chant 16 rounds. They will say that he's a very good preacher. He always quotes, previous acharyas or current acharyas, and He is giving us very good teachings, which are good for us, and he is also in line with them. Like that they will feel. So they are happy with you for two things. One is, you don't tell them that you should follow me. You are telling them, Prabhu, I am following Prabhupada, you also follow Prabhupada. And all the gurus, they are great souls. I am not a great soul. I am also one amongst all of you. But I am trying to follow. I am sharing with you. You may also follow. That is one reason they are happy with you. Another reason they are happy with you is, you are not bringing any Utpatan, any new thing on your own. You are in line with Parampara. That many people are happy with. One is, you are not pushing your own things, but you are in line with Guru Parampara. So the attitude matters a lot. Long before, in 90s, there was one brahmachari in Pune. He is no more now. So that brahmachari, he was one of the first batch Bhakti Shastri. We all did. So he also did that. He was a Hindi preacher. He was there for 2-3 years. Then he went away after that. So this fellow, what he did, he got his Bhakti Shastri certificate. He got it neatly. What do you call that? Laminated. He did that. Then he called his congregation, some 40 people, and then told them, देखो हमको भक्ति शास्त्र डिग्री मिल गया है, आप लोग हमसे सीखना पड़ेगा. आप लोग किसी ने आप में से एक भी भक्ति शास्त्र नहीं किया है, इसलिए जो भक्ति शास्त्र प्राप्त किया है उनसे आपको सीखना पड़ेगा. Like that he spoke in one class. And he gave them a form to fill up. So they all filled up the form and then gave the form to me, saying that, Prabhuji, we want to learn Bhakti Shastri, but not under this fellow. And then I called him and said, hey, Prabhu, aapke group mein out of 40, 25 people want to attend Bhakti Shastri. But they are asking me for a different preacher. They asked me personally. I said, I don't have time. I told them one book I can take, like NOI I can take. Other books others have to take. But they told me, Prabhuji, fix any preacher except this one. For their saying. He said, who said that? Who said that? Bring him to me, he said. I said, Prabhuji, all 25 of them said that. I said, none of them want to be with you. He got wild. Then he asked me, are you going to sanction it? He asked. I said, see, Prabhu, I cannot force them to learn from you. See, you have spoiled your relationship as that teacher. Yeah, a teacher also needs certain qualities. You are not a proper teacher. Because the way you spoke to them, you dealt with them, they felt you are very aggressive and very pushy and very demanding respect. You should command respect by your good nature and good behavior. Therefore, I cannot force them to take course under you. Then he told me, then tell them that I will not give them the weekly program. Then when I told them, they said, thank you. We never wanted. He was forcing us to come, we were coming. You give us another preacher, they said. So the whole group went away from him because of his one arrogant behavior. You see, this is a very important thing. Because sometimes in a haste or in crisis, we speak some strong things to certain people. And that strain that happens in a relationship, it actually goes for many years sometimes. It can happen. When you become a little angry sometimes. I don't say, even I become angry also. I have also sometimes dealt in crisis situation little strongly. But certain situations are repairable. Certain situations are irreparable. Like I heard one story, very moving story. Once a father went to a gas station to fill up the gas, and his small boy took one stone and he started writing something on this thing in the car, on the other side of the car. It was a newly purchased car. So the father finished putting the gas and he turned around and came. He saw this fellow is taking a sharp stone and writing something. Father was so enraged. The spanner that he was having in the hand, he went and bit the hand of this little boy. And the boy started screaming. But he flew into a tirade. Pat, 3-4 times he hit the boy in the same hand like this. And the poor little child, he fell on the ground, rolling on the ground. He couldn't tolerate the pain. Other people surrounded and said, what are you doing to the child? Then afterward, they said, let us rush him to hospital. So they took him to hospital. They gave him something, anesthesia or something. And then he went to doctor's room. Doctor said, see, some very heavy blows have happened on this little child's fingers. So we have to, amputate his 2 fingers. They said they amputated the 2 fingers. And then after the boy came to normal situation, the boy went to father and said, Papa, when will these 2 fingers grow? He asked. And he could not say anything. Then he went and saw the place where the boy was writing. So what he had written, he said, Papa, I love you. That's all he had written with a stone. So, and later on he even cried even more, because child didn't write anything senseless. He wrote something meaningful. So the result of anger is, later on, it is such a painful thing for both. The child also suffered, the father also suffered because of this. So these kind of occasional outbursts, emotional outbursts that come, we should be very mindful of that. And how can we be mindful? For that, we have to watch our own nature. Because if I have a too high estimation of who I am, if I have a halo around my head, or I have a holier than thou attitude, then I also expect that everybody should respect me, they should honor me, they should bow to me, they should fulfill all my expectations. So that kind of nature, what happens? Because I am having a wrong opinion about myself, too high estimation of myself, then I also will deal with them like that. Even in family situation, husband, wife, children, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather and all, many a times the angry situations come because of expectations, holding too high expectations. So, like I knew that whenever I have an assistant, when they commit mistakes, I don't become very angry. Why? Because they won't cook for me otherwise. They will say, Prabhuji became very angry, I am now Tata to Prabhuji. Then to get another assistant is very difficult. So I used to tell my assistant, become very angry, I'll tell him, please kindly go to next room, I'll talk to you later. You drink 1 glass of water and cool down, and I prepare my mind what to talk. Then after half an hour, I'll call him, come now. Because now I am already prepared my mind what to talk. Because he committed a big blunder. If he comes in front of me and says, Prabhuji, what happened? Then we become more angry. Correct, no? We tell him we will talk later. Give me some free time. I have some urgent call or something, I'll call you later. Then that is called as envisioning. You prepare your mind. How should I sanitize my speech? Sanitizing your speech means speaking in a way, acting in a way like a proper human being, not like an animal, like that. So, in this way, just because I am mentor of somebody or counselor of somebody, I can't afford to be too possessive, or I can't be too indifferent either. Both are two extremes. If you are totally indifferent, you will never make a community. If you are overly possessive, you will put off some people also. And when you become very possessive, your expectations also become, it goes on increasing. When people sometimes talk with angry glances at each other, you have seen that? People, then what? As they say, look at it. They don't have to speak many words. Only with their glance only is very dangerous glance. Because that's because expectation level has become very high, too much increased. So, one counselor, he came to me with his counseling and said, प्रभु जी हमने इस भक्त को भक्ति में खड़ा किया, अब ये बोल रहा है कि किसी और के पास जाना चाहता है, आप इसको समझा दीजिए. He said like that. Then I said, उसको बाद में समझाऊंगा, पहले आपको समझाऊंगा, आप बैठ जाइए. Then I told this other devotee, you go away now, I will talk to the senior first. Then I closed the door. Then I said, see, you should always understand that when I preach, it is their kindness that they chose to follow what I taught. Every jiva has the free will. So he chose to become a devotee, not that I made him devotee. Even Krishna doesn't take away the free will. Who are you and me? Even Krishna doesn't take away the free will. So we should always think, I preached, so many people I preached to, they don't become devotees. But this jiva is so good that he chose to become a devotee. And this jiva has also chosen me as a mentor or a counselor or a preacher. That is his free will. Tomorrow if this jiva comes and tells me, Prabhu, last 3-4 years I was with you, I had a nice time. But I want to learn certain things. I feel that I cannot get from you. There's another devotee. I want to learn these qualities from the devotee. I need your blessing and permission. So what we should say? We should say yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Like that you will say? Oh, yes, Prabhu. I facilitated you in your devotion service all these years. Now, if you like someone else to facilitate you, you can take their guidance. Not a problem. Because I can't give certain type of shelter what he wants, which I am unable to. One example I'll tell you. Some people are very emotional. They need a person who can sit with them, coolly talk to them, smile, speak very less. Mouth should be closed, but eyes should be open. Huh? That means eyes should be open. That means you are listening. You're nodding the head. You don't speak. You have open posture. And you are sitting as if in this world you have all the time for them. So some people who are emotionally driven, they need that type of shelter. They need. If you meet them and you say, you want to meet me? Really? Is 5 minutes all right? If you look at the watch like this. So I had given one congregation devotee to one counselor. Within 2 days he came and told me, Prabhuji, can you change another person? He said, I asked, what is it? Prabhuji, he doesn't sit only. He is like a lightning. He's asking, can we talk while walking? He said. So this fellow is an emotional seeker and that fellow doesn't know what emotion is. So it's an improper match. Correct, no? Nowadays, what I do, if somebody is a little emotional, I also look for counselors who are also of that nature. Very nicely sheltering. Both are very smoothly, they can sit and talk. Then I connect accordingly. Somebody little intellectual, connect them with intellectual people. Like that I connect also. Then there's the match, they will stay lifelong with them. If the match is good, they stay also. Go on peacefully. So, why am I telling you this? I will tell you, all of us cannot satisfy all people. Only Krishna can do that. One example I tell you, Arjuna needed enlightenment. Krishna gave him enlightenment. But Satyabhama needed emotion support. Krishna gave her emotion. How? When Satyajit died, Satyabhama kept it in a very nice medical, what do you call that? That's, facility, chemicals and all, not chemicals exactly, like some scented oils and everything she had put, preserved the body, preservatives she had put. She wanted to tell Krishna that her father had passed away, correct now? And then Krishna was out of station somewhere and he returned back. And Krishna already heard the news that Satyabhama's father passed away. And she lamented a lot and she wants to share her, grief with Krishna. So Krishna was mentally prepared. When Krishna came, as soon as he saw Satyabhama, he cried so loudly, oh, your father has passed away, he so dear to us. And he saw the body, oh, like that, so much he cried. Satyabhama had to pacify him. Take it. You cool down. cool down, my dear husband. Itna mata brona, don't cry so much. Then actually she was very satisfied that this fellow also lamented as much as me or even better than me also. Correct, no? So now how many of us can do this, tell me? Correct? It's difficult. Therefore, I am very convinced in my life that I cannot shelter everybody. Therefore, I allow people that, you take as much as you can take from me. And if I am not able to provide you a certain support, you can also go to others. There are many other devotees also. Because we are not Krishna to do such things. Krishna can do. Actually, he is all opulent in all respects, correct? Na? So therefore, when we know our limitations, we can reduce our expectations. When you don't know your limitation, then you think, why are you leaving my group and going to that group? Because you want to hold the people out of your possessiveness, but you don't know that you also have limitation due to which people are going to other places. Another thing that makes people leave us is talking ill of our equals. For example, why people talk ill of their equal friends? So that this person will not go there. But you will see that this person will make sure he goes there to check whether what you said is true or not to figure out. You are saying don't go there, I'll go there and check. Let me see. And then you will see that, oh, it's not the way you told. He's a very good person. Then it becomes confirmed that, you told something wrong. Their trust in you is totally shattered. So we should never talk ill of other devotees. So What we are doing in Hyderabad ISKCON Abhij temple in counseling system, we are saying that 3 meetings you take, 4th meeting you call your friend, another counselor you take. Again, 3 more classes you take, 4th you call same another counselor or one more counselor. Over. The advantage is what? By doing like this, they will also get to hear from others besides you. Sometimes you can sit, your friend can sit, both of you can share the dais. And what do you call it? Panel. huh? So you can, both of you can speak on certain theme. I can tell you that will be 100% attendance you will get. People will come running because people love panels even more than a singular person speaking. Because they want to find out what feelings you carry for the other and how do you relate with the other devotee. So those things are very pleasing to devotees. Like one time His Holiness Jayadut Maharaj came to Chapati. No? His Holiness Anand Maharaj said, His Holiness Jayadut Swami Maharaj is Prabhupada's senior most disciple. And in front of him, I have no qualifications to speak. I am simply a fool, he said. And Jayadut Maharaj took the mic and said, yes, Radha Swami is a fool because he is so tender and so wonderful devotee like a flower, he said. So that fool, he said, he used it in double meaning. You know? Yeah. So in this way, when there is a panel of 2 people, 2 or 3 or 4 devotees speak, many will be very charmed. Many devotees will happily come for such meeting. His Grace Dwarakadesh Prabhu told me, in Mira Road, they have like 5 or 6 counselors are there. So he said that every 3 months, the quarterly what they do, instead of individual counselor meetings, they get these 5-6 counselor groups together. And every time different groups lead the program, announcing and also performing Bharatanatyam or performing some drama and putting up different variety programs, and the whole group attends. It's like a big family. And then there are also individual, counselor meetings also. So he said this has done such a great good, he said, because there are many people who may be our counselee, they may not talk certain things to us, but they go and talk to someone else in whom they have confidence. For example, a child in a village, like a little girl, when she grows to puberty, she has some attraction for a boy whom she thinks she wants to marry. She will go and tell her grandmother, nobody else, because she has full faith in her grandmother. That grandmother will not release confidence. At the same time, she will maturely handle it. And grandmother will say, you are interested in that boy? Okay, I will take care. And what grandmother will say? She will call her son. Beta, your girl is already in the marriageable age. She's 18 now. What do you think of that boy? Can you get his horoscope? Then she will arrange the son to get the horoscope. She will see the match. If it's matching well, grandmother will recommend the son that I think we can give our girl to that boy. He's a very good family. And the son will say, Mama, you say, why will I not do it? We'll go ahead. And smoothly marriage will happen. Nobody will know what happened in the background. They would do like this in villages. And on the other hand, in case the match is not happening, then the grandmother will tell the son that, okay, we will just drop this case. Then she will call the girl privately one-on-one and tell her, you forget this boy, because although you are attracted, this attraction is superficial. Externally, you look attracted to each other, but, he is Asuragan, you are Devagan. After the marriage, you will suffer like anything. When you come near, Papa said, no, man is good, woman is good. When they come together, they become bad. Papa said, Similarly, some marriages, when they come, my Lord, because the match doesn't happen properly. So once the grandmother says no, the girl will remove it from her mind. No more second thought. She will say, because she has full trust that she is my well-wisher. So the village was having 30, 40 people, joint family, and every child had multiple different type of, this kaka, this is mama, this is nani, this is dada, this is that. Everybody different type of sweet relationship with different people. So community is also supposed to be like that. Our people have relationship with many, ideally speaking, they can have relationship. Nowadays what happens, if you are in one counselor group, you are going and talking to another counselor. Counselor, come here. What were you talking? Tell me. Give report. Give report. They will say, my Lord, this fellow is speaking as if he owns me. Huh? Even my father doesn't own me so much. Huh? Can't I talk to anybody? Some people come and ask me, Prabhuji, if we talk also, they don't appreciate. And also some counselor groups, what they say, our counsel group is the best and their group is worst. That kind. These are all, see, in Tamoguna, a devotee thinks, I am the only devotee, nobody else is devotee. What guna it is? Tamoguna. And Rajoguna means I am the best devotee. Nobody is as best as me. That is Rajoguna. Satoguna means I am a devotee and I can also see there are many others trying to be devotees. They are also wonderful devotees. There can be many nice devotees. And Vishuddha Sattva means I am not a devotee. Everybody else is devotee. That is Vishuddha Sattva. You see? Vishuddha one, Lord Chaitanya said, I have no love for Krishna. Vishuddha Sattva one feels like that. So we have to ask, we want to be in which guna? If you are going to be in Tamaguna, you think I am the only devotee. It's very foolishness it is. How ridiculous it is to think like that. Thinking I am the only devotee. It's crazy it is. So, therefore, the extreme possessiveness is very dangerous. And what happens by that extreme possessiveness? We may try to hold people in our shelter for which we may say and do certain things. Like every one of you leaders here, you want to see your people follow you, follow your guidance, report to you, and then do things as you want them to do. Correct? No, all of us want. People are. But in case they are not doing, like one counselor was very unhappy with one counselee. That counselor was not coming for the meeting regularly. One class he would come and 3 classes he won't come. Again, one class he would come, another 3 classes won't come. Like that. Then Yatra came, and the devotee came and brought the form. In those days, we had a form for Yatra, The counselor has to sign. So the counselor said, I cannot sign this form now because you got only 50% attendance. And he said, see, this Yatra you are not coming, but you have to come 1 year for 100%. You have to come for all the meetings. And if you don't come, I will stop your initiation, he said. So then this devotee came to me and said, Prabhuji, I want to change the counselor. Why? I asked. Prabhuji, he is speaking as if he is only going to give me initiation. As if he is a guru himself. He said, I will stop your initiation. He's saying like that. So that devotee got very offended. He and his wife, they switched over to another group after that. So what happens? If you strain your relationship with your people, it will be very difficult to repair that. Like, if a pot breaks, again to reassemble is very difficult, correct? So we have to be very mindful of that. Some of us, we have experienced that at some time or other in our life, we have spoken improperly and we lost our relationship with few people. Do we want to increase that number or reduce that number? Reduce or eliminate it as far as possible. So therefore, we should know, I am not a guru. I am not a counselor. I am not a great soul. I am actually a coordinator, a facilitator. And what is my knowledge? We are trying to read Prabhupada's books and make some notes and try to speak to people. And our realizations are not that great. We have not gone we have not studied scriptures extensively and intensively. Scriptures are vast and oceanic. Acharya means, they have vast knowledge. So we should not, now one is the knowledge aspect, one is sadachara aspect. See, if somebody has a lot of knowledge, he has a big head, but imagine somebody with a small body and a very huge head. It's like that, he has a lot of knowledge. So in South Indian Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, there is one example. Your knowledge is like your eyes and your sadachara is like your legs. If somebody is lame, then he cannot travel place to place and preach. Imagine both legs are broken. You have to just be in one place. Similarly, you are a very knowledgeable devotee, but his sadachara is not good, nobody will welcome you. People will say that, bye-bye, you are very intelligent, thank you. They will not welcome. They will close their doors for you. On the other hand, when devotees see that our behavior is good, we are unassuming, we are humble, we are gentle, we are respectful. Even those things which you institute very strongly, like discipline and everything, we should actually corroborate with Prabhupada's letters, quotes. Say, I am telling you, Prabhu, because this is very important, we have to be careful. Maya is very powerful, Prabhupada says this. So because we are quoting Acharyas, they will like you, that they will say that he is just repeating what Acharya says. And for our good only he is saying. Once their heart trusts you, that yes, this person actually is my well-wisher. He may be strong. See, good leader is one who is strong as well as, gentle. You have to combine this feminine and masculine traits. But the strong side should be authoritative. We should not try to use our own, muscle power to make them obedient. That will not help. So, therefore, when we talk about the empowered acharyas like Prabhupada and Bhaktivedanta Thakur, who is a ray of Vishnu, these are all extraordinary souls. We are nowhere near them. We should consider ourselves that I am grateful that I am given an opportunity to repeat this knowledge. In my understanding, our lifespan is short, say 60, 70, 80 years. In this span, whatever best we can do, we should do and push off. And in everybody's life, one time I met my special master in his room in Bombay. So he was telling a very interesting point. He said, in every situation, you should ask the question, how best can I serve? He said, sometimes I can best serve by offering spiritual shelter to somebody. Sometimes I can best serve by allowing them to go to someone else and receive that shelter and not be under me. Because I am not able to do good to them because they don't have respect for me. They have respect for someone else. Okay, let me put them under them. And they can, like one boy, from Bombay, he wrote to me, RadheShyam Pr, I like your brahmachari lectures. I want to join full time. He asked, who is your counselor? He said, Gaurang Prabhu is my counselor. You should go and tell your counselor. So Gaurang Prabhu immediately wrote to me and said, this boy wants to come to Pune. Can he join your temple? I said, most welcome. So he joined here, Pune. So 2 years later, one of our boys in Bharatiya Vidyapith, Mayapur boys, so he told me, RadheShyam Prabhu, I have a lot of respect for you, but for Gaurang Prabhu, I have my heart. He said, Gaurang Prabhu's jokes are so great. I like his this thing. So, Prabhu, I want to take PDC training in Chowpatty. I heard Gaurang Prabhu gives 2-3 classes in a week. In those days, he was giving. I immediately wrote to Gaurang Prabhu, Prabhu, this boy very much is fond of you, want to join training there. He immediately accepted. Yeah. So, why we both did this? He is sending someone to Pune, I am sending, because that's where these boys were feeling shelter. We should allow that shelter. We should also know when we are giving shelter, we are not giving people our shelter. We are giving Krishna's shelter, Prabhupada's shelter, Acharya's shelter, Parampara's shelter. We are not giving, will any of you show your feet and say, take shelter of my lotus feet? Can anybody say that? If you say, people will think this fellow has to be taken to mental asylum. Then we cannot say, here is my lotus feet, take shelter. We are giving Krishna's shelter to them. Because Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill and gave shelter to the whole Vrindavan. Vijavasis, isn't it? So, like people like Acharyas, like Prabhupada, they can say, you take shelter of my feet. They can say that also. If they say also, it's not wrong. Because they have that power to deliver. What power do we have to deliver? We ourselves are making effort to practice and survive in Krishna consciousness. So, therefore, the possessiveness and hardness in dealing these things. So, one should have a proper understanding of empowerment. Read this, Shakti Avatars.
Hare Krishna. Shakti Avatar are incarnations of Vishnu's power invested in a living entity. Living entities are also part and parcel of Lord Vishnu, but they are not as powerful. Therefore, when a living entity descends as an incarnation of Vishnu, he is especially empowered by the Lord. When King Prithu is described as an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, it should be understood that he is Shakti Avatara, part and parcel of Lord Vishnu.
That means Prithu is not Vishnu. He is a part and parcel of Jiva who is empowered to act like Vishnu. Correct, no? Therefore, you will see when Prithu chased after the earth, and finally subdued the earth, and earth agreed to yield everything. So, in what relationship did he accept the earth? Anybody knows? He speaks to her. Actually, she asked him a question that, oh king, you are saying that you will cut me into pieces. But if you cut me into pieces, then how will all the living beings stay? Because earth is required for the jivas to sit. There is 8 billion population on earth, no? So where will they stand? Where will they stay? You know what he said? I can cut your bodily earth into pieces, and I can, in my own mystic potency, I can give them all, facility to stay, he said. So he was very angry that she is not yielding the crops and everything like that. She understood, my Lord, he is very, very powerful now. His Vishnu's power is exerting. And later on, his anger became appeased when she agreed to. She said all the chori bhute, the word she uses, that because the thieves are eating grains and not serving Lord Vishnu by yajnas, therefore I was not giving. Now that such a good king like you has come, now I will give all the yield, she said. Then he became pacified. After pacifying, he told her that I accept you as what? Anybody knows? In Prithu you will read, huh? It comes in the 4th canto. He told her that I accept you as my daughter. He said, I cannot accept you as my consort, but accept you as my daughter, he said. The reason I'll tell you why. Because if it is Sakshat Vishnu himself, Vishnu can only accept Sri as his consort. Whereas Prithu Maharaj is not Sakshat Vishnu. He is a Jiva, but is empowered by Vishnu's power. So devotees always accept the internal potency as their daughter. One example I will tell you. In the Tirupati Balaji hills, Anantacharya, when he was there, one day he saw that the garden, the flowers that he was making in the garden were all spoiled. They were all, somebody had removed them, somebody had walked to the garden. He was very angry. So he wanted to find out who is spoiling it. So he hid himself in a bush and watching. So night he saw one young boy and a young girl, and they were catching each other's hands, and they were extremely beautiful and nicely decorated. So the boy was plucking the flowers and then collecting them together and giving a flower bouquet to the girl, and she was accepting it. So when they were coming like this close, immediately he understood, this is none other than Lord only, Lord Srinivas only. And this is his consort. He saw. So he had a rope in the hand. He threw it like this around them. Of course, he didn't know at that time that they are Lord. He thought that these are lovers, he thought. So he threw the rope around them to tie them. But then that boy escaped. Only the lady remained. So he tied her to a tree and said, see, now that I have captured you, he has to come because he will come to fetch you. At that time, I'll catch him also. Why are you guys spoiling the garden, taking everything? Like that, he asked. So in the course of talking to her, many things he spoke to her. When the sun rose in the east, she said, oh, now I have to go now. Because, here very close to this place is my husband's place. She said, then he also thought it was getting time for the Lord to be woken up. So when he went to the altar, he saw a hole in the Lord's heart because Lakshmi was not there. And then the Lord said, he asked the Lord, where is Goddess of Fortune? He said, you only have arrested her. You have tied her to that. He said, oh my Lord, he immediately went and released her. Then Lakshmi ran back and she occupied the heart of chest of Narayana. And then on that day, he sang a beautiful song. He said, my dear Lord, since she took my shelter, I accept her as my daughter. So in this way, you have become my maplai. Maplai means you have become my son-in-law. So in this way, I am giving her to you back, he said. Similarly, devotees accept the internal potency like their own daughter. So he also accepted her as a daughter because he's a devotee. He's a devotee of Vishnu, but highly empowered like Lord Vishnu. So Prabhupada also is Shakti Avesh avatar. Why? Nityananda Avesh came on Prabhupada. When Nityananda Avesh comes, Prabhupada exhibited the kind of compassion that the world has never seen. Like in those days, one Narada delivered one Valmiki, we keep telling the story. Our Lord Chaitanya delivered one Jagai Madai, and Prabhupada delivered hundreds and thousands of Jagai Madais. He delivered. It's not an ordinary thing. Therefore, he says here that, if somebody is extraordinary preaching, they're doing like Prabhupada, we should know that they're highly empowered by Lord Vishnu. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartan. One cannot explain the glories of the holy name of the Lord without being specifically empowered by him. If one criticizes or finds fault with such an empowered personality, one is to be considered an offender against Lord Vishnu and is punishable. Like when Srila Prabhupada came to India with his disciples, American disciples. Actually, he didn't know where to keep them. There was no matha. But he trusted his god brothers. He told them to stay in one matha. But then when Prabhupada was busy in India, some of his god brothers spoke something ill against Prabhupada to the disciples. They said, hey, your Guru, Swami Prabhupada, he was just a businessman before. Somehow he used his business tactics in America to preach and bring you guys. But if you really want knowledge, we have many sannyasi disciples here who are disciples of Bhaktivedanta Thakur. They know Shastras very deeply. You should take their shelter and things like that. They started speaking. When Prabhupada came back, he came to see that his disciples are being spoiled, poisoned and polluted. Immediately he had to remove them from there. Then Prabhupada understood that some of his god brothers are favorable and some are unfavorable. There was an Ananda Prabhu. This Ananda Prabhu was such an innocent and pure-hearted soul. He cooked for all the devotees and he made them all sit. He gave one chair for Prabhupada to sit in the corner. And he was running personally and serving prasad to everybody. And Prabhupada said, just see, this is a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava delights more not in eating but in serving. Plus, you can also see he is so non-envious. I am bringing all of you here, but he is simply satisfied in serving my disciples. So there were some non-envious people, like Puri Maharaj was also completely non-envious, very friendly to Prabhupada. This one is RadheShyam Pr Maharaj, completely non-envious and very friendly. In fact, Prabhupada went to his matha on the rooftop. He was sitting with his disciples. When Prabhupada went, he came and embraced him and said, Swami Maharaj, you have satisfied our Guru Maharaj's desire that preaching should happen in the West. You have done a magic. Now you have brought many of the disciples. Then he saw those two people, Achyutananda and Kirtananda Swamis. He called the both of them and said, hey, you, both of you are born in the Western world and now you have taken sannyas. I can tell you, in India, you go around, thousands of people will follow you. People in India are going to be charmed that, Western-bodied people can also practice Krishna consciousness with such sincerity. So his eyes were glistening with tears in great appreciation and glorification in the moonlit night when these two boys saw Bhaktivedanta Maharaj's genuine appreciation coming from the heart. They immediately wrote a newsletter and sent it all over the world. He said, what a sweet relation exists between Prabhupada and his senior god brother. And Prabhupada was telling these two boys that this personality, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, is very, very close to Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Therefore, he has given him the name Bhakti Rakshak. He's a protector of the Bhakti. And he is deeply learned in Sanskrit. And Prabhupada said, I am not as learned as him. In fact, whenever I want to refer something in Shastra and get clarification, it is him I consult. So Prabhupada glorified him also. So Prabhupada gave him a lot of respect and he gave appreciation to Prabhupada. It's such a sweet relationship. On the other hand, there were others. So one of the god brothers, in Mayapur, when Prabhupada wanted to buy a land, some god brothers told the Muslims that you sell to anybody but don't sell to this Swami. The inside people only troubled. Prabhupada came to know, then he thought, I have to quickly buy. And Prabhupada said, if these people choke me from buying in Mayapur, I will make Los Angeles the headquarters. Prabhupada said. And then in the meantime, Tamakshra Maharaj could purchase the land. He purchased it. And when Prabhupada went there, some god brothers from Gaudiya Math started asking, how can he call himself Prabhupada? Prabhupada's name is only for our Guru. And then when the matter came to our Prabhupada said, see, this is desire of Srila Rupa Goswami, Prabhupada. Sanatana Goswami, Prabhupada. Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada. So the name Prabhupada is used for any great personality who has had a very great influence in the lives of hundreds and thousands of millions of people. And Prabhupada said, I followed the order of my Guru. Bhaktivedanta Thakur's order, who followed it? Taking the matter to West, printing and publishing books and distributing, and bringing the Westerners. And also Prabhupada said, I never call myself Prabhupada. You look at my signature, what I write? A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, that's all. But my disciples, they call me Prabhupada, and that is the standard. I don't call myself, I am the Prabhu and all of you are at my path. I don't say that. Therefore say, so Prabhupada, in this way, there was some uproar against him. You can see that. Therefore here he says here, Krishna Shakti Vinana Hintara Prabhupada. If one criticizes or finds fault with such an empowered personality, one is to be considered an offender against Lord Vishnu and is punishable. Even though such offenders may dress as Vaishnavas with false tilaka and mala, they are never forgiven by the Lord. Lord, doesn't take any offense if somebody offends the Lord, but Lord takes offense when somebody offends Lord's devotees. You heard this song, Haristane aparade tare harina. Haristane aparade tare harina. Umastane aparade nahi paritran. Jai Baro Karuna Karo Vaishnava Gosai. Patita Pavana Tuma Vinek Hona. Yahara Nikata Gele Papa Dure Jai. He mana doyala Prabhu keva kota pai. Gangara paracha hoile paschate pavana. Darshane pavitra karo ye tumara gun. Jai Baro Karuna Karo Vaishnava Gosai. Tomara Hridaya Tada Govinda Vishram. Govinda Kahena Mora Vaishnava Paran. कति जन्म कोरी आशा चरण धूली नारता मैं करो दया अपना बोली हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे. So you understand the meaning of the song, right now? It's a very beautiful meaning. Yahara nikata kele papa dure jai. If I come close to such pure Vaishnavas, all my sins will be gone. Just like when light is switched on, the darkness is gone. Like that. Similarly, in Ganga, only when you take baths, you can get purified. Whereas pure Vaishnavas like Prabhupada, simply if you look at them, you get purified. Gangara parasha hoile paschate pava. Darshane pavitra karo ye tumara gun. He says. And then he says in the same manner, Lord Hari is residing in your heart. And Lord Hari himself says that in the scriptures. My devotees are remembering me and I am always present in their hearts. Tomara Hriday Sada Govinda Vishram. Like that he says. And if I offend Krishna, by chanting Krishna's names, I can get rid of the offense. But if I offend you, such great soul like Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas, that offense cannot be eradicated easily. It's Vajralep, very dangerous. In this way, every birth, I pray that I get shelter of such an Acharya, life after life. Prati janme kori asha charanera dhuli. Narottame korode apnara poli. So in this way, one should nullify all our offenses by glorifying. So even some of us might have offended Prabhupada in the early days. Like I used to think, why Prabhupada is bringing Krishna every time? So once I went and asked His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. I said, see, Maharaj, here the word is used Purushottam. It can be Narayan also. Why Prabhupada is saying it is Krishna only? Then he told me 4 slokas later, he showed me, read the verse. Yasyam vai shruyamanaya Krishne Paramapurushe Bhaktirudpatyate Pumsam Shokamoha Bhayapa. Correct, no? Here the word Parampurusha, it can be Narayan or it can be Ram or it can be Krishna also. So how do you know this Parampurusha is Krishna only? Because there is one verse which is Anartho Pashamam Sakshat Bhakti Yogam Adokshaje Lokasya Janato Vidvam Sakre Sat. In those series of verses you will see one verse says that Apashyan Purusham Purnam Mayam cha tad apashrayam Vedavyasa Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Pranihite Amale Apashyan Purusham Purnam Mayam cha tad apashrayam. Vedavyas, what he did, he was sitting in rapt meditation and taking the Bhakti Yoga paradigm. You can take Jnana Yoga paradigm, Ashtanga Yoga paradigm or Bhakti paradigm. So he took Bhakti paradigm. Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak means completely. Pranihite amale, with not even a tinge of any karma jnana yoga in that, no mal. Huh? And then apashyan, he saw, what did he saw? Apashyan Purusham Purnam. See, who is the Purusham Purna? Who is Purnam Purusha? Krishna, because Ram is Maryada Purushottam. Huh? And Narayana is called as Purushottam or Leela Purushottam. But Krishna only is called as Purnam Purushottam. Huh? Apashyan Purusham Purnam. Mayam Chadadapashya. He saw Purna Purusha Krishna, and by side he saw Maya, which was completely under his control. Similarly, you can see Yasmat Param Na Paramaste Kinchit Yasman Naniyo Jo Yoste Kinchit Vrikshai Vastabdo Dividishtati Ekas Tenedam Purnam Purushena Sarvam. See, Purnam Purushena. This Purna Purusha is who? Krishna only. Similarly, Yajjihvagre Vartate Namatubhyam. This is by Devahuti is telling. Huh? What is that famous verse? Aho Batashapachoto Gariyan Yajjihvagre Vartate Namatubhyam Te Pustapaste Jahuvos Sasnurarya Brahmana Churnama Granantyete. In this verse she's saying, Aho! She's saying that, alas, just see, even a Shwapacha or a dog eater, huh? When he chants the holy name of the Lord, which manifests in the tip of his tongue, that name makes him more qualified than the best of the Brahmanas. Like that she's telling. So what is this name? If it is coming in the Agra, Agra means, which is the name which sits in the tip of the tongue? If you see, Krishna, say Krishna. Krishna. The tip of the tongue is involved. So Rama, no, tongue is not involved. Mama, Rama, tongue is not involved. Whereas Krishna, Krishna. Say Krish. See, Shiva Shambho, that is Shiva. Whereas Shanmugam, Krishna. Correct, no? Vishnu. Say, Krish. Tongue is, tip of the tongue is involved, right, no? Krishna. Whereas Rama, tongue is not involved. That means she's talking about which mantra? Krishna's name. Huh? Jihva agre vartate namatubhyam. She's telling. So in this way, this was told by His Holiness Bhakti Vaishnava Ashraya Maharaj once was quoting this. Huh? So you will see that he was also telling His Holiness Gaur Krishna Maharaj in those days. Same point he said. Huh? So in this way you will see that when I was telling the example, why? Because I was suspecting something, but later on it became clear that see, the Bhagavatam will say this is Krishna only after 4 verses. Prabhupada will tell it in advance only. Because Prabhupada is afraid that this fellow may not read further. Yeah. Better he knows here only. Huh? Yeah. So then instead of becoming offensive to Prabhupada, eventually that turned into affection for Prabhupada. Huh? So Prabhupada is so kind, so compassionate, so concerned about all jivas. And also many purports, Prabhupada repeats the points. One man asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, what is the need for repetition? You are saying the same thing so many times. Prabhupada said, although I am saying same thing so many times, still you are not following, therefore I have to say. Then he said, even though I am saying, repeating so many times, you are not following, then why should I not repeat? Isn't it? He said. So he is very highly upward personality. You see, he took the purports of commentaries of all the acharyas in Sanskrit And he only took as much as is needed to be given in his purport. Otherwise, his Bhagavatam will become even more bigger. Now already the small volume is how many? 40? 48? The small one? 48, yeah. Imagine if you took all the commentaries, all it will be the 108 or something. Nobody will want to read it. Huh? So therefore he took, and then in the purport he says, reader may refer to Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur or Bhavarta Deepika of Sridhara Swami. Prabhupada refers like that. Very highly empowered personality. So here is this thing, activity for you. Name a devotee of Krishna whose preaching activities created a miraculous revolution in lives of misguided civilization, making degradement. Whom do you consider as, what do you consider as a miracle? The miracle, many miracles. Huh? You can say, according to you, what miracles you think Prabhupada did? One thing I already told you, in such a short span of time making so many devotees. What else you think as miracle? Anybody? Huh? Hippies into happies. 108 temples single-handedly in those years. Now it's more easy also now. People trust is gone now. And in those days nothing was there. What else? Doing this at old age, beyond 70, beyond 70 years. Not a joke. Huh? He was not a young boy. Huh? Doing this in old age. Humanly impossible action. In the late night, getting up at 12:31, writing commentary, besides managing and running the movement, along with that writing commentary. Sacrificing sleep, which is very rare. People will sacrifice money also, but not sleep. Yeah, very good. 14 times traveling in that old age. Prabhupada was very intelligent. You see, every day he would take this oil massage. Why? Because when you travel a lot, it causes vata to increase. But when you take the oil massage, you remove the vata. So he was keeping him healthy so that he can travel and preach. And one doctor told, you are not walking at all, you are just sitting in one place. Your stomach is creating problem. Then Prabhupada started walking 1 hour every day in the morning. So he knew what to do in order to keep himself fit to give his best to the world. Very amazing. So we will stop at this for today. We can take 1 or 2 discussion questions. Anybody? Then this we will do it next time. With this Naivam Vida Purushakara. Start with this next time. Shri Prabhupada ki, Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Yes, anybody? Anybody want to comment or add? Hope you didn't become frightened with all the examples I gave you. Huh? Baba counselor, baby counselor and all that. Huh? Yes, Prabhu. Use the mic.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This was a very, I'd say, very nicely presented of different kinds of difficulties devotees face, even with counselors sometimes.
Yeah.
I have come across, I've heard from one devotee of a counselor who literally calls him and tells that you cannot preach, I'll preach your people, send them to me. And, he's bewildered what to do because he was his counselor at one time, right? And similarly, then being in a position where we are being preached, we think, whether we should complain against them or not, because it will not be a right thing to do. Sometimes we blame ourselves that, maybe I'm actually at fault. Maybe I should not. How to know when you are
Say,
right?
for example, the ex-counselor is having a program going on, and Y is one of the counselees who, after some time, stopped coming to the program, but started his own program. Let us see. But then Y is not that mature. X knows that. The X couple knows that Y couple is not that mature, but they want to start preaching. And X is calling them compassionately. If you can't come every week, at least come alternate weeks. And the Y is saying, no, we are super busy now. We have to go, we have to print pamphlet, we are calling people, and a lot of people are coming in our colony. Our program is booming. Yes, it is true, program is booming, but they are not having adhikar to train them. Sometimes it happens like that. Prematurely, one want to run a program, but although one does not have the proper adhikar maturity, then what I will do, I will tell you, I will call Y personally and tell him, okay, right now you are busy, I won't disturb you. When you have a half an hour or 1 hour time, you come, I want to talk something important to you. I'll call and say that, see, Prabhu, you can preach, you can make a big group, you can go on with life. But tomorrow, if you have suddenly difficulty, at the time, things can become complicated. Your group, people will come and complain to me or complain to the temple. And there may be some action on you from the temple side. Your whole program may be stopped. That's one possibility. Or you'll be asked to retire and somebody else will be put there. So that is also not good for you. And you will be disheartened by that. Instead of that, I will suggest you that you do what you are doing, but maintain your connection, not necessarily with me, either with some other devotee, some other leader. Because in this world, our empowerment to preach and shelter people comes from our upward connection. Like, for example, one time Radhanath Maharaj was going to one place. There was a temple with one door and second door and third door, like that. Later on, the actual sanctum sanctorum will come. But at the gate, there was a very stringent, security. There's some famous temple in south. But Maharaj will certainly be allowed. The watchman actually moved aside and he gave, and Radha Kund Prabhu was also there with Maharaj. He called me. I said, I don't want to push myself, Prabhu. I don't have to come. He said, no, RadheShyam, just come. If you just stick to Maharaj, they will allow you also. Just be behind him. No gap should be there, he said. So then I was also, because he was too much pushing me, I also went like that. Then first door, they allowed me. The three of us went in. Then second door also they allowed. Then the third door, when we came, there were 3-4 watchmen there. They stopped me. They told Radhakund Prabhu that, see, Maharaj ke saath aap hai na, why is this fellow coming? He should stay back. Then I was about to stay. But then they asked him, hey, kaun hai? He said, chote Maharaja, he said. Inke saath hi hai. Said, ठीक है, chalo. Then I could go with him after that. So then we went in. Then at last we could go to the sanctum sanctorum. Now one thing you will see, we could go because we were with him. Correct, no? If we are not with him, no, there will be no this thing. We should always remember that when people respect us, they respect us because of our connection to our spiritual master and our parampara. Like there was one village, first time His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was going to that village. Lot of people, there were like 600 people. They were having flowers strewn everywhere and stage very nicely arranged. He was about to do a program. They're waiting because the village is little remote. They have to go by car and many of the people in that village, they hadn't seen Maharaj. They only heard about his glories from their seniors and everybody. The few seniors know. They have seen Maharaj. So when the Maharaj car was coming, before Maharaj car and behind Maharaj car, there were other cars also. So Shikshashram Prabhu's car reached first. As soon as he got out, the crowd was so big playing Mridam Kartal. They brought a huge garland and put on his neck. Radhanath Maharaj, and they were singing. And he was wondering, why they're giving me such a big garland? Later on, he came to know that was intended for Radhanath Maharaj. It was intended. And then he said, Arey, main Radhanath Maharaj piche hai. Oh, aisa kya Delhi liya. They took it. So now when I heard this example, I was thinking, so why did they respect him? Because they thought he is? Or people also will respect us because we are connected to somebody great. Therefore they respect. The moment we disconnect ourselves from our upward connection and say that, I don't care for him anymore. I don't care for Prabhupada. All of you anyway love me. Me and you all, let us be together. They will say, get lost. They will put a chapel garland for us. They will say, get lost. Because we don't want you. We like you because you are connected. This much serious the upward connection is. Because generally what we think, a person above me is too demanding, I can just cut off from him. And persons equal, they are always giving me feedback, cut off from them. Then me and my people, we will have our island. And in this way, we will wonderfully fly back to Godhead. Sometimes people try to keep like that and big problems will come in such communities, island-like communities. So it has happened in different parts of the world. In one part of the world, there was one very powerful counselor who had 200 people under him. I don't want to mention any name of the place. And he was a very powerful preacher, expander and everything. But his wife was very mediocre. She was not very active, but she was pious type like that. But in that group, there was one Mataji who was also very powerful. She was married lady, but her husband was mediocre. Husband hardly, he would chant 16 rounds, but hardly come. It was like that. So at one point of time, what happened? This preacher started connecting with her in WhatsApp for all help. Because she was like him only. He was very powerful. She was also very powerful. They both are connecting and help. Over a period of time, he started developing some enchantment, attraction for her. So somehow or other, they came to a wrong conclusion. He told her that you divorce him and I will divorce my wife, we will marry. And the moment they did, the whole community was shattered into pieces. 15 years it took, Prabhuji. The 15 years, everybody went away. Now after 15 years, again he has started preaching now. But now the potency is gone now. Now the old people, nobody is coming. Some new people, 20, 30 people are coming now. He was such a powerful personality at one time. The world knows it, ISKCON world knows that person. But he made a big blunder. Because he thought people are attracted to me. He said, no, they are not attracted. They are attracted to Krishna, not to us. Because we are representing Krishna, therefore they are attracted to us. Like Devaki became extremely beautiful as soon as she possessed Krishna. Correct, no? Even Kamsa saw my sister has become extraordinarily shining and beautiful because of possessing Krishna. If I don't possess Krishna, I forcibly try to make people surrender to me. That will not work. So our beauty comes from our possessing Guru and Krishna in our heart. So this we should never forget this fact. It's a reality of life. If people are too much giving me respect, I can understand how much these people love my spiritual master, how much they have love for Prabhupada. Therefore, like you heard the story in Pandharpur, they make mold toys of Vitthal and Rakumai. You've seen that? They put it in mold and make these toys and sell also. Many people can buy big size. So for bringing those bunch of those molded toys of, the Vitthal Rakumai, they would keep it, on the top of over the donkey, they will put a cloth, a big bundle of cloth, and over that they would keep, and because it will be very heavy, they'll bring it like that, and then they'll keep it, and then one by one they will sell it. Many people will buy. So when the donkey used to come with this toy of Vitthal Rakumai, he saw that many people on the road are doing this and then bowing down like this. And the donkey used to think that, people very much respect me. He was thinking like that. One day what happened, the toys, the Vitthal Rakumai toy was not to be brought, only the cloth was to be brought. So when they brought the cloth, nobody did this to donkey. Because they didn't find Vitthal Rakumani, correct, no? They didn't find. And the donkey became offended, right? Why you guys are not respecting me today? They said, what is he talking? So the foolish donkey didn't know the respect is not given to him. It is given to the lordships. So these examples are all given why? To remind ourselves of our true position. Correct, no? So now you are asking the question about some subordinate who is going in a tangentially a different direction. We have to explain these things to him. We should tell him, see, don't think I am telling you this because you have to be connected to me. I am not trying to hold you. Whichever Vaishnava you are comfortable with, you go and connect with them. I only want to see you flourish. I don't want to see you perish. That means you are a good facilitator. He will understand. He will say, Prabhuji, I'll connect with you only. Why to go to somebody else? Other people don't even know me. You know me, so it's good for me. Prabhu, I can't come every week. Please allow me to come once a month or twice a month. I will come. And you also visit my program once in 3 months or something like that. Come and speak. And then naturally when you go to his program, you glorify him and his wife and the family and everything. And that becomes, you don't know how much weight you gather when a senior glorifies you. You don't even know that. Because you cannot tell your own glories to anybody. If you say, you will be gone. They will say, get lost, they will say. But to some other superior to whom you are reporting, they glorify you that, Prabhu, he's such a good soul, he's doing. Then people will develop the same trust in you as much they have trust in the senior. So therefore, the authority-subordinate relationship is a very important one. When we earn the trust of seniors and gurus and everybody, then it becomes easy for us to preach and develop a community. And we can explain that to him. We can tell him, you are not the only one. Many people have tried to become independent kings in their own lives, and they all would eventually perish. When the trouble will come, I'll tell you, not in the first year. When you make first, second, third, fourth, fifth year, when you go, when the community becomes little mature, they become 1600s and getting initiated, there will definitely be different ideologies will come. At that time, they will say, you are telling us to obey you. Whom are you obeying? They will ask. Correct, no? Are you obeying? Your seniors say that you are not obedient to anybody. Why should we obey to you? You only want us to surrender to you. You are independent minded. You are doing things. That is another big problem. Some community leaders will always say that, I am pet of RadheShyam Pr. There are many people say that. RadheShyam Pr told me this, RadheShyam Pr told me that. But actually out of that, 9 out of 10 things I didn't tell them. Whatever they want to say, they will say, who said it? Yeah. Then many people ask me, Prabhuji, we have heard so many of your lectures. In your lectures, you say the opposite. You don't say this, but he says that you said this. Then I will catch this person. Tell me, show me what all I said. I never said this. No, Prabhuji, if you take your name, it's very helpful. I said, there are people who take my name, what can I do? Therefore, nowadays I am producing almost one lecture every day. I have told the people, whenever you have any doubt, check with these lectures. You can check what I am speaking. I am just trying to hear and represent Prabhupada. So if somebody takes my name, like imagine, somebody says something, then I'll tell them, you have to check with me through an email or a WhatsApp message that, Prabhu, is it true? This is what you are saying. Correct, no? So in this way, the proper, respectable connection between different levels of devotees is very, very important in this moment. You are a spiritual moment. The parampara connection is very important. You can explain to them, but if they don't listen, eventually they will preach for a while, jump up and down. After some time, they'll get tired also. Sometimes such programs split also into two. Sometimes there are internal quarrels. When people leave the community, when a person, becomes very pushy and he says that, I cannot, I won't send you for initiation. Let us see how you will get initiation. They will want to prove to him that without you, I will get it. Both of them become vindictive, that kind of thing. Or when a person tries to be very possessive and intrudes into their private affairs, people don't like. That is another thing. Or somebody criticizes another fellow counselor or leader, Or one boasts about oneself that I am very empowered. That kind of thing, if somebody speaks like that. So, these are not, these are diseased symptoms. And therefore, one thing you can be assured that we may be concerned about somebody, we can express our concern to them, but ultimately every jiva has to fly their own plane. We can only try to give them good advice. If they listen, they will be saved. If they don't listen, what to do? We can only pray for them from a distance. We can't do beyond that. But it's our duty to tell them.
Prabhuji, just another thing, Prabhuji. I heard that, that when a community grows beyond a certain number, there is one leader, who has made that community flourish and everything. But as you rightly said, after some time, if the leader has some ulterior motives or he is not presenting himself properly, the community starts looking for others.
Correct.
And then he restricts them from going to others, right? And then the whole, community breaks.
Yeah.
I heard that in ISKCON, I don't know from where in ISKCON, but I heard that some rule is being passed that after a certain size and certain number of years, that community cannot be headed by one devotee, even if he is the person who is.
You should have a kind of
a council.
Correct. Council.
Is that true, and how is it being implemented?
There are two types of council. One is, say for example, you have 4-5 people with you, and you are the leader. You are like a senior most, and the other 4-5 people take different departments. They take, and they all like you very much. They work under you and with you. That's one style. Another one is, the leader has become very improper, and many people are raising some kind of opposition and things like that. Then sometimes GBC comes in and they make a committee and they make him as one of the members, 4 or 5 members. They say, you can also be there, but you're not the only one. Besides you, there'll be 3, 4 more others also. And you all will have equal power. You won't have any veto power. Then everybody together. And the convener may be him, or convener may be rotating also. They may do things like that also, they do. Both the things I have seen in ISKCON. But generally speaking, Prabhuji, as soon as any community touches 100 devotees, for example, immediately there should be at least 3, 4 core members who are most prominent in the community, who should work with that main leader intimately. The reason is, when it touches 100, 120 people, 16 numbers I am saying, when a community has so many 16 numbers, because many people develop liking for certain people, and they also connect with those leaders. And if the senior leader is in touch with them, and he has a good relation with them, they will also bring some of the grievances of the community to him. Like I have, for example, Antardeep Prabhu and Revatipati Prabhu. We have such an honest relationship. Antardeep Prabhu can frankly come and tell me, for example, one meeting, I had decided that we will not go to first year engineering. All of us will preach in second year. Everybody nodded their head. Almost there were 25, 30 preachers. And after the meeting was over, I asked Antardeep Prabhu, what are they saying? That's what he asked. Next day he told me, Prabhuji, second year preaching is not good. Boys are very spoiled. They want to preach to first years only. And I didn't even ask him then why they nodded their head. I didn't ask. Because I know that they will open up to him more than me. Because they see me more like a father, but they see him like a brother. Open up. Next day I called for a meeting and again said, Prabhuji, I changed my mind. Let us do to only first year only. He said, Hari Bol. So you need confidential associates who are honest with you, and they will not fear to tell you what is going on. If you make very stringent rule, they may not like. For example, I made one rule in those days. If you are coming late for Mangalarti, when everybody else is chanting, you should sit and write 108 times Mahamantra. And in my entire career, last 30 years, only once I had to write 108. I wrote also once in the temple hall sitting, and I understood how difficult it is. Because, your rounds are remaining. All 16 rounds you have to chant in the daytime, it's difficult. So then Antardeep came and some devotees told me that, Prabhuji, some devotees are a little unhappy. They are asking, why not write during the day and submit it at night, before the end of the day, instead of writing during chanting. I immediately implemented it. And everybody became very happy after that. So in this way, we can have a team of people running, because many people connect with somebody and that somebody is in touch with you, and the whole community goes very well, very smooth. Plus, the work also becomes divided. There's a saying in English, responsibility turns sand into gold. You say, no? So which means if you give responsibility of few departments to each of those 3, 4 fellows, they will run it very well also. They will do a very good job, because they are given responsibility. They take it to their heart and they do it like that. That way, division of labor, division of responsibility, plus getting confidential information about what people are feeling. Like for example, you gave a class one day. After the class is over, some of your confidential people will come and say that some people are talking that the class was a bit heavy, about Vaishnava Aparad or something like that. Or you said certain statements, they feel that this is more than even what Prabhupada said. Some are asking, where is Prabhupada's quote? Things like that. So the next time you'll have to balance it, because our philosophy is Achintya Bheda, Abheda Tattva. Sometimes you go to one side too much. Then you also balance from the other side, correct now? Yeah. So in that way, having some confidential associates in our own community who are very senior, just next to us, having a sweet relationship with them is very, very important. Without that proper relation, when they don't trust you, then the whole community becomes very affected. And the biggest problem for the leaders is what? Because they also have grown up, they will want some freedom also. Freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of giving ideas and everything like that. Therefore, they should all be in the same boat and go together. Therefore, we say, first you form a society, then there's a storm. And then their norms are made, then perform. So these are the 4 stages. First you form your community. When it becomes 100, 120, 150, and then the storm comes where there are tussles. Because the leader, what he does, hey, why are you not coming for the program? You are not doing any services, You are simply coming for prasadam and going, or something like that, Or This family is very lazy, that family is crazy, or some comments he makes, but then that word gets around. Hey, Prabhuji ne bola, you are crazy. Huh? Hey, Prabhuji ne bola, you are lazy. Huh? That word gets around. Then people start showing grievances. Then there's a storm. Huh? And then norm. Norm means then you form a proper group of seniors, confidence. You also mind your words, what you speak. You become more careful. And Vaishnava qualities you start cultivating, proper behavior. So then norms come. Then you can perform very nicely after that. Correct. So in this way, uh, uh, one more important thing I have not yet spoken, which is the brahmachari and grihastha roles. So Madhvacharya Sampradaya, they have one very beautiful example. They say that grihasthas have to go to offices and outside world, and they cannot avoid the association of non-devotees. They are forced to associate despite their not wanting also. So therefore, they are compared to a pond where sometimes people pass stool. Correct, no? Some ponds, people wash their buttocks back in a pond. So there some stool pieces will be there. Similarly, devotees, despite escaping very intelligently, still some bad association comes in a good office. And the brahmachari sannyas are compared to fishes who eat away that stool. And wherever there are fishes, that pond will be clean. You know that? Because that stool and other things are taken away by them. Huh? But at the same time, the fish cannot survive without water. So grihasthas are compared to water and brahmacharis are compared to fish. Because brahmachari sannyasis, they don't earn money. They need charity. But who gives charity? Grihasthas. And in turn, brahmachari should give classes, brahmachari sannyasis, they should give classes. And they're supposed to be completely like children, completely transparent. And that transparency is very charming to the grihasthas, especially one is unattached, very detached, is focused in Krishna. So grihasthas get a lot of strength when they see good devotees. And then they feel that this fellow has given up everything of the world. I can at least give up a little bit. Let me give some charity. They do. So the grihastha brahmachari combination is extremely powerful, provided there is no power fight. Power fight means brahmachari says, all of them are attracted to me, he says. And grihastha says, no, to me. Then both are catching shika and pulling each other. Both grihastha leader and brahmachari leader. That's a very bad combination. But if brahmachari says, I will just come, give lecture and go. Prabhuji, I can only speak Shastra, but you can give shelter to people, especially grihastha problems and all you are helping, which is a real thing, cultivating people. Your good wife is taking care of so many Matajis, you are taking care of Prabhujis. Like it's a fact actually. Jayadevpur Satyamaji in Pune, they were cultivating and caring for people. I used to just go give lecture and go. Here I do the same thing, correct? Is there any grihastha calling and asking me solve our household problems? I don't attend to that. People talk to me about preaching, expansion. People talk about sometimes management related things. But otherwise, personal problems, Mataji's talk to senior lady and Prabhuji's talk to senior man. This is very, very ideal. And Brahmachari Grihastha combination is also very powerful, provided they can function very smoothly. Because in a traditional Vedic Varnashrama, they have their roles. Both have their roles. Because sometimes what happens, the Grihastha man or woman, they are also living in the outside world and they are also doing a job, they are earning, and due to which sometimes the members of the congregation can take them lightly. Like Satyajit Maharaj used to tell me, RadheShyam Pr, these ladies are coming from rich families, they don't increase chanting beyond one round. You strongly tell them, she would tell me. And then after the program is over, she'll bring them. Prabhuji, she's such a wonderful devotee. She will be praising them like anything. And I will strongly tell them you have to start 4 rounds. And then they will look at Satyajit Maharaj. Maharaj, I'm chanting 1 round. Is that all right? She will say, I don't know. You have to check Prabhuji. Prabhuji says 4 rounds. Sadhu Baba bol diya, aapko karna padega. Then they went to 16 rounds eventually. So we can do what we can do, what they can do, what they can do. Correct, no? And also many people, when they see sadhus, they feel naturally like they feel charitable. They feel like giving something for God's service. People give. So in this way, in a community, there has to be a very powerful combination of sadhus and the grihasthas. That community can flourish like anything. But everybody, whether you are a brahmachari or a grihastha, we have to be very, very careful about not becoming victim to false ego and false pride. Because today I gave many examples, becoming extremely possessive, becoming proud, becoming a fault finder or a blasphemer, leg pulling, backbiting. All these are very, very horrible qualities in the conditioned stage, which we have to very sincerely chant and purify. If we don't, actually, every community will see that some impurities don't go away very easily. Therefore, some amount of problems are there always. When you put a fire in Chula, there is also smoke. Krishna says in 18th chapter of Gita, when you lit fire, there is also smoke. But we should reduce the smoke and increase the fire of Sankirtan. But we should know that the nature of Kali is to create quarrel. Kali has 4 bad qualities: quarrel, rebellion, independence, and one more, what is it? Hypocrisy. First, people are hypocritical. When you point out, they quarrel. Then they rebel. And finally, they become independent. So these 4 qualities are very deadly. And we should not allow these Kali's qualities to come into our community. We have to protect the community. The purpose of the leaders coming together is because if leaders are well situated, every leader is connected to many devotees with them. So in turn, they all will be protected also, taken care. So all of you taking out this time and coming is a very wonderful thing, and we should. And as we come, every time we learn something and go, these notes are also coming to you. You can read it at your leisure and contemplate more. And then as you get leaders in your care, you can share with them the same also. Can teach them and prepare them to become stable, mature, inspiring leaders. Shri Prabhupada ki, Lal Bhakta Vrinda ki.